Good afternoon from the Disney Springs bus directory. You guys know what that means. Another resort tour. We're gonna go for Disney's Pop Century Resort today. So let's head to bus stop number 27. Oh man, this bus stop's real far away. There's the first set of bus stops. Here's the second set of bus stops. And we still have to keep going all the way around to the third and final set of bus stops. Here we are at bus stop number 27. At least we're not at bus stop number 29. What is that one? What's all the way down at number 29? What's the furthest bus stop for Disney Springs? Oh dang, Art of Animation. The furthest bus stop to walk to from Disney Springs. King of the bus. King of the bus. I just wish there were more signs telling me what the name of this resort is. So here we are at Disney's Pop Century Resort. Let's go inside and have a look around and see what we can find. As you guys can tell, Pop Century is divided into different sections: 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, and the 1990s. They originally were gonna have a Millennium wing, but that has since turned into Art of Animation. Check out this awesome, like Bel Air looking golf cart. This is what it's like when you first walk into Pop Century's main lobby. Oh, almost didn't open. So the lobby here has all kinds of displays of different things from different eras. So you can see a Mickey Mouse Club here. What would this be? Would this be the 1950s? Or maybe the 1940s? I'm gonna go with 1950. Oh, it says up above it. It's 1950s. Nice work, Tim. What is, oh, this is for the drive-in. That's cool. Poodle skirts and the such. Frankie Avalon. And then we head into the 60s. Well, this is neat. I like that they have the different TVs and the antennas up above so that you can see what the TVs used to look like. Whoa, look at this awesome thermos, like cooler thermos. Oh, look at this radio. This is awesome. Whoa. Yeah, oh, we landed on the moon. There it is, all this Apollo stuff. Wow, this is actually really amazing. Huh. And then we head into the 70s, Disco Mania. Ooh, look at this awesome, this is a radio? A bunch of different types of radios. These are really neat. Oh, and 8 tracks? How many? Oh, Star Wars. Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is amazing. I like this a lot. Oh, Troll Dolls. Everybody remembers Troll Dolls. And then there's the TVs up there. And you can see a Mickey Mouse phone too. Oh look, there he is. Florida, the Sweet Life, the powder keg, and your first look at the magical new Walt Disney World. Opened in 1971. Pretty neat. So they have a whole little section here devoted to when Walt Disney World opened. Look at this calculator. This is awesome. Oh, and a lava lamp? This is actually really fun. Go-go boots, platform shoes, and a big wheel. We're into the 80s. Like Jazzercise and stuff. E.T. Ooh, I like that belt. That's pretty awesome. A little thing of rollers. Board games and toys and stuff. The Great American Burger Machine. I think I need one of those. I think we actually have this Crock-Pot cookbook. Ooh, Who Shot JR? Well, what is that thing? Is that like a little tiny TV, or is that like a light with a radio attached to it? Oh, the California Raisins. Those are my jam back in the day. And we head over to Handy Cams. I used to have this phone when I was younger. Here's a Mac or an Apple IIc. Telephones. What is this thing? Just like a radar gun of some sort? I don't know what that is. Here's the calculator for this one and a camera. And then what is this? Like a fax machine? It is. That's awesome. It's either a copy machine or a fax machine. I'm fairly certain it's a fax machine. Head into the 1990s. Lollapalooza. Amazing. Glow sticks, tattoos, and canned string, party string. This is amazing. Doc Martens. This is actually really funny. Oh, the Internet for Dummies. Here's a video camera. It's kind of hard to see. Here's our TI-81. We used to have to get these for school. And here are our cell phones that we would have had back in the day. This is the George Foreman grill. don't know why sushi's up there. And a salad shooter. Oh, I remember salad shooters. That's really funny. And here are our toys that we had. A Dreamcast, of course. Where's Waldo? Virtual Fishing. That's awesome. My first Sony. The X-Files. Yes, please. This is really neat. Ooh, rollerblades. I remember when rollerblades first came out. Ooh, you had to put this, you used to have to plug in your CD player and put that in your tape deck in your car so you could play CDs. And look, this is the Spice Girls movie. All behind the check-in counter they have what looks like clip art from the different years. Not clip art, like stock photos. Like here's some surfer dudes listening to their tape decks. And then here's a lady talking on a cordless phone. So that's everything for the lobby. Let's head into everything pop shopping and dining. Basically the gift shop and then into the food court through there. This gift shop is actually really big. They've got all kinds of Halloween stuff and basically just like a general assortment of stuff you could get within the parks. But it's fairly substantially big. Nothing too intense as far as Pop Century branded merchandise except for this little water bottle right here. And of course they do have some Halloween stuff, and like every resort they do have a little sundry section. I've kind of seen this more and more around the different resorts, but they have like a little trivia board out with a little bit of trivia questions for you to answer. So here is kind of an overview of the food court area. Nothing real special, but they have like sodas and stuff like that. Then they have all kinds of different meals that you can get, and it looks like you can use your Disney dining plan for some quick service meals here. I have a little breakfast section here with like eggs and bacon and sausage and waffles and stuff like that. And you can also get ice cream over here, which sounds delicious. A little section with burgers and chicken tenders and a vegetable burger. Hot pastrami sandwich, barbecue pork sandwich. That actually all sounds really good. There's a little grab and go section over here, like with every resort that we've been to, or at least with every value resort. Little sandwiches and drinks and stuff like that. But they also have this little section over here with some fresh baked goods. These look really, really good. I think that these are probably the best thing that I've seen today. I want to eat all of them. Another little section with some like Italian type foods, like pizzas and chicken parmesan and meatball subs, and they also have flatbreads over here. This section is like a hearty dinner section. Like they've got carved rotisserie turkey, fried chicken, pot roast, seared salmon. This is some like all out like home style food. Just a quick trip into the little gift shop and food court. Let's go check out the rest of the resort. Before we head outside, we have to check into the Fast Forward arcade. See what kind of games they have in here. Whoa, it's gigantic. Wow, what the heck is this? It looks like air hockey, but it's themed like Pac-Man and the pucks come out the side like that? I guess like the pucks come down and then you have to try to really hit it over to your opponent's side. It's kind of interesting. I can't believe how big this arcade is. It's so big. This one's kind of fun. You get actual balls and you have to throw them at the screen and try to knock stuff down. That's pretty fun. Everyone's favorite, Speed of Light. Whoa. It's like a dart game without the actual darts. It's like Topgolf. Oh, you're playing lawn darts. Oh my goodness. I feel like Pac-Man has gotten out of control. Like, does it need to be this big for 4 people to play Pac-Man on one screen? See, this is interesting. There's like normal skee ball, and then there's this weird advanced goal rush soccer version of skee ball. I like how there's all kinds of games all over the place, and then just up front is this one little tiny game for kids that's like a car game. That's really funny. And then we go back outside. All right, let's head out and explore the hotel grounds. Once again, there are not enough giant signs telling me the name of this hotel. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. Do you guys remember how I was talking about how Art of Animation was supposed to be a millennial building? You can see here, Hourglass Lake is the lake that separates Pop Century from Art of Animation. And you can see the bridge was called Generation Gap Bridge. That's because there was supposed to be a generation gap between the 90s and the 2000s. So before we get to the pool, I wanted to show you guys the pool bar here called Petals. And I think you can get like some light bites there and stuff like that. I like how they have a ping pong ball vending machine. So for 25 cents, you can get a ping pong ball. I'm guessing that's to play ping pong on the ping pong tables over there. And you can kind of see from the decorations on the outside of the buildings, we're in the 60s section. And this pool is shaped like a flower, and it's called the Hippy Dippy Pool. Can you dig it? And I like this, like a gigantic yo-yo. One of the big decorations at the 60s section is the Play-Doh, like a giant tub of Play-Doh. And then if we turn around to our other side, there's Mowgli and Baloo. So over here is the Hippy Dippy pool. And then if we turn just a little bit to our, what is that, our left, your left, there's like a little splash pad pool over here for little kids. I feel like I kind of jumped into this a little bit fast. Like I'm in the 60s section. I should have started in the 50s section. So I'm gonna kind of go forward again and try to get over on the other side to the 50s section. So here we go, we're heading into the 50s section, which is decorated with gigantic bowling pins and big old transistor radios. And 45 records, not like 45 RPM records, I guess I should say. And some people dancing like they're at the sock hop. There's a giant statue of Lady from Lady and the Tramp. And then on the other side, there's the Tramp. And there's a little pool here that I think is shaped like a, what is it shaped like? Is it shaped like a car? No, it's shaped like a giant bowling pin. Oh look, there's bowling balls and everything there. And there's also a jukebox decoration across the other side of the pool. Oh, I just realized Lady and the Tramp's little doghouse is here too. So here's Lady, and she's looking over at her doghouse. Right there. Oh look, the bathrooms for this bowling pin pool look like the shoe cubbies from a bowling alley. Oh, so the main lobby area is called the Classic Hall. And now we're heading back towards the 60s section. We already went through the 60s section, which had the Hippy Dippy pool and this giant yo-yo. So we're just gonna go right past it and head over to the 70s section. So here's the Classic Hall, which is where we saw the gift shop and the food court and all their decorations showing off the different decades. And then of course, our giant sign that says Pop. And that's where we came out of, where the arcade and the gift shop and everything was. And now we're walking past the Hippy Dippy pool, headed to the 70s. Oh, I just passed by this sign here that tells what the different movies are that you can watch on the deck of the Hippy Dippy pool. And wacky bowling, arts and crafts, pretty awesome. Looks like Friday's the day to come though, because Friday has a lot of stuff going on and you can watch up. And here's some more of the giant decade numbers that are on the outside of the Classic Hall as we head towards the 70s section. Just passing by the last large yo-yo from the 60s section, and I noticed this awesome surfboard Goofy right next to this Corvette Stingray. And as you can tell, the Corvette Stingray is leading us into the 70s section, which is decorated with gigantic 8-track tapes. Soul of the 70s. I like how the 70s is decorated. Mood rings and platform shoes. Let's see what else they have out here in the 70s section. Looks like they have like some outdoor games set up for you. Like you could play Twister here, which is pretty awesome. They've got the spinny thing there. Oh, it looks like they're doing some remodeling on some of these rooms here in the 70s section. Well, that's interesting. Oh, this is really neat. They have some of the things that we saw in the lobby in the 70s section, just giant sized, like this Mickey phone right here. There's a giant foosball court out here, as well as a giant big wheel. We saw those, they were hanging up on the wall, which is pretty neat. So we saw a giant big wheel hanging up on the wall in the lobby. I think it's pretty amazing that there is a giant foosball court here. You can't really do anything with it, it's more of like a decoration. But still, giant foosball is fun. I want to see how many times I could say giant foosball and discotheque. Oh my goodness. Just looking up there, I can see one of the cleaning carts for a room, and I can hear a jackhammer going. So that means that there are people in some of these rooms, and there's a jackhammer going off right down that hallway. Sounds like no fun. Oh, I thought there would be more games, like different variety of games, but it looks like it's just Twister. Also, these palm trees here are very tiny. Like maybe they just got planted. I wonder what happened to the original palm trees that were here, because the other Twister game is surrounded by larger, more mature trees. Whereas this one is just surrounded by baby ones. You can see a full-grown adult one right next to it here. So before we leave the 70s section, I wanted to show you guys the back of one of these giant 8-track tapes, because they have the song listings on the back. Wah Wah Pedal Wonderland. We are really flying through time. We've gone to the 50s, we've gone to the 60s, we've gone to the 70s, now we're heading into the 80s. Wow. Oh, this is kind of neat. So there's a walkway. This is Hourglass Lake out here, and we talked about this earlier with the Generation Gap Bridge that leads over to Art of Animation that you can sort of see through the trees there. But all along this walkway, they have little signs that give a little fact about each year. So like 1983 was the last episode of MASH. It drew the largest audience for a single television show, 125 million viewers. I wonder if that record has been broken. Has Michael Jackson's Thriller being the biggest selling album, has that record been broken? And as we head out of the 8-track era 70s and into the 80s, we're greeted by Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Something else that should be noted about this resort is they're doing a lot of pressure washing, so there's a strong smell of chlorine all throughout the resort. And as we head into the 80s, we notice a large Rubik's Cube decoration surrounding the stairwell of some buildings that have the decorations of Pac-Man all over it. It's almost like the buildings are a giant Pac-Man board. And I like that up on the top of the building, just a psych! Totally awesome! And then it's got breakdancing people on the outside of it. So are we still in the 80s? Or have we moved to the 90s? Because that does look an awful lot like the 90s, because the pool here is shaped like a giant computer. You can see the keyboard out here. And Roger Rabbit, who was not in the 80s, he was from the 90s. Or was he from the 80s? Maybe he was from the 80s. And a Walkman. Yeah, we're still in the 80s. Maybe that's 90s over there. Yeah, because there's a rollerblade. Okay, so we're kind of in the in-between area between 80s and 90s. But check out this giant Walkman. This thing was actually neat. When we were younger, we used to have these, and they were like a little bit waterproof. You couldn't take them in the pool, but you could take them out in the rain or something like that. Look at that giant genie lift right there too. So be aware, a lot of construction going on here. And then there's Roger Rabbit, one of my favorite characters of all time. So this is called the computer pool, and you can tell it's got like a little mouse here as the like decoration leading you in. And it's basically just a square, because that's the computer monitor. And then here's the keyboard over here. We pass by our last Rubik's Cube, we head into the 90s, which I like how their catchphrase is, surf the net, ... What's the ellipses for? Like, surf the net, or else. I like just decorated with CDs and rollerblades. And I don't know what kind of dancing this is. This is kind of neat. The pool bathrooms for the computer pool are shaped like the actual computer box. Like, here are some of the ports on the back and these giant screws. Pretty neat. Having a look back at the computer pool, and I just noticed there was this giant stack of floppy disks over here as a decoration. And if you look just underneath this tree here, one of them has the word games written on it. Man, that brings me back. We used to have all kinds of floppy disks with games and stuff on them. And then here are the bathrooms, and it looks like a laundry room too, that I was saying look like the computer that is the main console for the computer pool. And then as we turn to our left, towards the 90s section, they have a giant laptop showing off abcnews.com and disney.com. I like that. That's really cool. Oh, and they have an email open from the desk of Mickey. Brilliant. So now that we've had a quick overview of the resort, let's go walk down by the water and have a look, see if we see any more interesting signs. Have a look at the Generation Gap Bridge and look across the way at Art of Animation, a resort that we will go and check out at a later date. As I was walking to try to find the path out by the waterway, I noticed that there was a giant cell phone decorating the stairs for the 90s buildings. So we're just looking across Hourglass Lake there at Art of Animation, which I told you guys before was supposed to be the Millennium buildings, but they since changed it over to the Art of Animation stuff. And you could see there's supposed to be a lot of different ways for you to get over to Art of Animation from Pop Century. Here is the bridge that we were talking about. This pathway goes all the way around, and then I believe there's another pathway around the other side of the lake that goes all the way around. The whole reason that I came over here was to check out these signs that give different things that happen in each year, starting with 1999. We'll take a quick stop at the bridge and we'll see if we see anything interesting on these signs. I love the juxtaposition here with the Dow Jones hitting the 5,000 mark and then the first blue M&M. Thank you, 1993 National Science Foundation, for allowing us to have a YouTube channel. 1989 was a good year for Hollywood studios. I think my biggest question is, why did somebody have to invent a special ball to help kids learn how to catch? Wouldn't you just learn how to catch with a regular ball? As I'm walking this trail, they keep bringing past all the old furniture that they're removing during the remodel. We're heading back in time, and we've made it to 1971, the year that Walt Disney World opened in Orlando, Florida. Consequently, we are almost at the bridge. Just to give you guys a bearing for the bridge, That way is the Hippy Dippy pool and the classic hall. And then we turn and we see here is the bridge that leads over to Art of Animation. And you can see they've got some construction walls because this is where they're building one of the gondola stations that will be opening sometime, I think next year. Oh, they're actually like doing it. Look, construction is happening. They're moving a pipe around. Wow, this is neat. You can see all the work they're doing here, building the gondola station. Well, that's pretty neat. Huh, here's something that I never knew. Soft contact lenses were invented in 1965. I wear soft contact lenses and I didn't know they were invented that long ago. Heading back in time. Well, so I'm not really good at reading things or saying or pronouncing things. Miniskirts are shown as haute couture at the fashion houses of Dior and Courrèges? What is that word? I feel like for a value resort, if you could get a hotel room that faces out at Hourglass Lake, I think it's like beautiful. Like, I know that there's a lot of construction. That's another spot for one of the gondola stations. But I mean, the lake is beautiful. You can see Art of Animation over there. That's beautiful. It's quiet back here. As I don't know if you can request rooms or not, but I would request the 1950s looking out at Hourglass Lake. I like how the font changed. Now that we're in 55 and Disneyland opens in Anaheim and the word smog is first used. But why did the font change on these signs? We've made it back to the very first sign, 1950. The most popular Pez head dispensers to date are Mickey Mouse and Santa Claus. And Peanuts goes into syndication. In case anybody was wondering, from 1999 to 1950, it's right around a mile, maybe just like a little bit less than a mile. It's not too bad, not too bad at all. So that's gonna do it for us here from Disney's Pop Century Resort. Still can't believe there's not any giant signs that tell you what resort you're at. It blows my mind that they didn't do that. It seems like a thing that most places would think to do. All in all, it's a very nice resort. It's pretty quiet. I don't know if maybe that's just this time of year or if it's just always quiet. I like that walk along the waterfront, and I like that you can get over to Art of Animation. So, I don't know, I would highly recommend this as a place to stay. So with that being said, we are off, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And now it's time to pay the price.